Welcome to the Land Your Bet Sports Betting Show. Looking at the NBA here on Friday. Got 9 games to choose from as we go through this slate. I've got a few looks already on the card that we're going to get to here in just a second. 4 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's been the case over the last couple days here. Still 3 of the last 5 nights winning days, but lost 1.9 units last night. Going to go through that with you guys right now. So if that all sounds good, give that video a like. Let's get right into it. Quick reminder, we have the live show every day, 5:30 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Twitter. Y'all bring your bets, jump in the comments. We go through that stuff together. I share my screen and go through everything we can go through to find that value, as all this information, news, injury reports, all the lineups and stuff are coming out right around this time and moving forward. So we use the live show to get the best value we can with all that news coming out. Definitely jump in there. Hope to see you guys at 5:30. For now, let's take a quick look at what we did yesterday. 3 wins were fine. I felt good about all of them. Tyus Jones made us sweat with missing free throws, then making free throws. Weird stuff from him last night, but we got there because he got 10 dimes and 8 points or 9 points. So we got over that one. But looking at the losses, Andrew Nembhard missed 2 of 3 final 3 free throws that we needed to get 1 point. He ended on 12 for the hook and couldn't get us 1 more point off of his 3 free throws at the end of the game. And that just dicked us. I don't know what to say. Just weird anomalies. Dude who shoots nearly 80% from the free throw line couldn't help us get over. We move on. Jordan Poole, 5 fouls in 3 quarters. Didn't play the last basically 17 minutes of the game, including the entire 4th quarter. He sucked for sure. He definitely sucked, but he had the volume. Still took the most shots on the team. Still led the team in scoring. Just couldn't get back on the floor to get us 4 points. Ended with 18, had 14 or 11 at the half, whatever it was very on pace for getting there, and then just stopped playing. So that is what it is. Everything else here, the next J-Dub, Evan Mobley, that game was over in the 1st quarter. Blowouts happen in the NBA. It's a cost of doing business, man. But we're going to go back to J-Dub today, to be honest. And then Cam Whitmore had 9 points, couldn't get back in the 4th quarter. I don't know, man. That was another weird game. They came back. There were so many points scored, and Cam just didn't see the time. Really thought he would get more minutes. They gave it to Jeff Green. A little bit of a bad look. Tried to pull one off at the end and couldn't do it. But either way, we are now 266 and 231 on the season, plus 35 units. The record is what it is, man. I mean, we're still well above 500, but it's mostly about the money. And we're up 35 units on the season, so we're going to keep it going. Still do have a couple of codes left for over 40% off. Your first month gets you, if you use code over 40. So there are 3 total codes left in there if anybody's interested in joining the VIP. But let's go ahead and get into these looks for Friday. As always, going to be using Props Madness here. And if you do want to get in on the action for the best tool that you can use to find all the best value in the NBA and WNBA when we get to the ladies in the summertime, use code LYB to sign up and get your first month 25% off. Also get yourself a free week trial if you just want to check it out and sort of learn how to the ins and outs of this platform, which are super, super helpful. I'm offering some one-on-one help in the VIP Discord as well for those of you who want some one-on-one sessions to help understand how to best utilize this platform. So let's get into the first game here. We got the Magic and the Celtics. And what I'm looking at here for this first game is, can we get back to Peyton Pritchard? Do we think this is going to be a blowout? He's still at 10.5 points. The reason I haven't pulled the trigger yet, and I'm still trying to understand what the true volume for him is going to be in this game, even in this game where he had 31 minutes against a way worse defense in the Raptors, and they ended up losing that game. So he had 11 field goal attempts, not a ton to get the points. He should be good for that at about 10, 11 field goals. I just don't know if I can guarantee that in this game with the way that this Boston Celtics team has been losing lately. They just lost to the Raptors. They barely beat the Pelicans. And before that, they lost to the Kings and beat the Nuggets, then lost to the Thunder. So they've got basically like 3 wins in their last 5 games. I don't think that they can afford to mess around here with a Magic team that is super undermanned. But at the end of the day, like, they're going to bring the defense. Jamal Mosley, one of the best coaches in the league, is going to make sure that his team is ready for this matchup here, the interconference matchup. So I can expect Orlando to give them enough trouble that I do think Boston's going to be playing its starters a ton. We're not going to get any victory guard, Peyton Pritchard moments in time that he can play, but I do think 10.5 is still a beatable number. So I just kind of want to see a little bit more news come out, a little bit market pressure, handle this stuff for the Celtics, and then I'll come back to Peyton Pritchard. Next game is this mini rivalry that we have from these two teams that traded with each other in the offseason, and the Knicks and the Timberwolves, this time in New York. If you look at the head-to-head game from last game, the Knicks wiped the floor with them. 30 minutes for Jalen Brunson, but they won by 26 points. He didn't have a good game, but basically everybody else did, including this man, Karl Towns, who is questionable. But if you look at his numbers from last game, 32 points, 6 assists, 20 rebounds. So a 30-20 game with 6 dimes for the man, who on the threes hit 5 of 5. He was 100% from deep in that one, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. He took over this game and ended it. Mikal Bridges had a pretty good game as well in this one head-to-head. He had 29 points. I would say that's pretty good. 12 for 18 from the field, and I do expect him to continue to have big games here, even against teams that are good on the catch and shoot. But my first look here, this is actually me helping you guys be a little bit chill. Josh Hart didn't play in this last game, but I want to make sure that you understand, yes, Josh Hart has been going off on the boards, and he's had incredible games. He's had like 4 triple-doubles or something, 5 this year, whatever it is now that he had one against the 76ers in overtime, which he did need overtime to get that last assist for the TD, but he got there. Point is, the rebounds, he hasn't been playing with Cat. And you just got to be a little bit careful. If you put Cat on the floor and you look at Josh Hart's boards, still had some really good numbers here in the last 4 or 5 games. Cat's also been dealing with that hand injury ever since, I believe, either the Bucks or the Pistons game. He kind of tweaked his finger, and it's been legit. So he's had some troubles over the course of the last week or so. And him coming back in this one, I do think he'll still be good to go. I do think Cat is going to be a go in this one. They kept him out of the last game, probably in part because they wanted him to play in this one. So Josh Hart's rebounds with Cat on the season, 9.7. He's come around a lot as of late, and I can't deny what's happened in these last like 10 or 11 games for sure, going over very consistently. This is a much better rebounding team than some of these teams he's gone over against. I would say since the Wizards, right? You got the Wizards, an undermanned Jazz team, the Thunder he couldn't get over, but he did in the next one, the Bulls, the Raptors, awful with the Thunder, and then the Bucks, who just got wiped out in that game, lost by 34, gave him a lot of rebound chances. I don't think they wiped the floor with Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota misses that many shots, and I don't know that Josh Hart is the best option for the boards. I think we just need to see a little bit more of how healthy Cat is before we go to Hart. If Cat is out, great. Let's get Hart on the rebounds. No question. 10.5 is a good number for me. If Cat is in, I'm a lot more weary of 10.5 boards for Hart. So we have to wait for that injury news. We'll talk about that on the live show, 5:30 p.m. Eastern today. Looking at this Pelicans game, taking on the Jazz in New Orleans. We're going to get Zion back in this game. Just going to be missing Herb Jones and Brandon Ingram for these Pelicans. Everybody else should be in there. But I kind of want to look at this Utah team, who's going to have nobody in there. And hopefully you guys are looking at the official NBA injury report each day to make sure you're getting the actual official news of who's in and who's out. Any of the reports you see are coming from this report, anywhere else on Twitter or what have you. So make sure you're checking this out. This is gospel and what you can trust. And I'm just bringing it up to show you this Utah at New Orleans game. And by the way, if you need the link to this exact site here, you can go ahead and find that in the description of this video to make sure you have all the tools at your disposal. But this Jazz game here, Jordan Clarkson out, John Collins out, Taylor Hendricks been out, Johnny Juzang now out again. Walker Kessler is going to rest in this one. Lauri Markkanen out. Micah Potter, who's been starting at power forward, out. You see Colin Sexton is available. So is Oscar Tshiebwe. However, I would keep in mind that we don't know if either of those dudes are going to actually play. I do think we'll see Colin Sexton, but I want to see the starting lineup for this team, because here's where I'm going with this. Freaking love Isaiah Collier, and we don't have his stats up. So I'm just going to, or his props up yet, because we don't know enough about this lineup for the Jazz. But Isaiah Collier is filthy. And I'm bringing up here the NBA.com box score from their last game where they just played against this Charlotte team. And you can see I'm on the Jazz here. So Collier started in that game alongside Keontae George. And what I want to make clear to you guys is Isaiah Collier is the point guard of this team, even when Keontae George is out there. And he's better than Keontae George, just straight up. But George took the 22 shots. He was sort of the green lit, right? And so is Sensabaugh. Those are their top 2 scorers when everybody else is out, including Micah Potter, by the way. We could still see Collier start alongside Sexton with the 3-guard lineup, but they're going to be probably too small with Eubanks playing for Walker Kessler. And maybe Sensabaugh or Flip. I know they like to keep Sensabaugh on the bench and have him as the 6th man, but Flip could start at center as well. So we just got to see what happens with this lineup. But if Isaiah Collier gets us anything around like 4.5 assists, or let's say like 7.5 RA or anything that low, because Colin Sexton coming back definitely impacts how much we're going to see Isaiah Collier. I don't really care though, because if you look at the player passing stats on NBA stats page from the last game where they played without Colin Sexton in this one, but George was available, and you see who led the team in passes made, assists, potential assists. He had 13 of them. This is a dude who's looking to set others up, and they're going to continue to allow him to do that because the offense looks so much better when he's running the point than when Keontae George, and even when Colin Sexton is running the point. And I do expect Sexton, when he's out there, to be a bit more off ball and then primary scorer type of stuff for him. But make sure you guys are checking this type of stuff out on the NBA stats data, because that leads me to go, as soon as I get Isaiah Collier stats, we're going over for him in this game. On the other side, I am eyeing Jordan Hawkins. I don't know if this is going to be a blowout. I do think that the Pelicans should run away with this eventually. I think we're going to get some blowout minutes from Jordan Hawkins. And even if we don't, we're talking about a Utah team that cannot defend what he wants to do. If you scroll down here on the to the bottom of Props Madness, you'll find the ability to look at player season shot chart, the opponent defense shot chart and how they defend, and then also play type analysis. And so what I'm looking at here for Jordan Hawkins is I do think he's going to be able to get out and run in transition. You see that they're better at the spot up here. He is scoring 28% of his points off of spot up shots. However, in this game, I do expect him to be playing with the second unit, and the second unit will have just one guard on it alongside him, whether it's CJ or DeJounte Murray. Those guys will stay on the floor when Jordan Hawkins comes in. So he's basically going to be the secondary scorer when he's on the floor, maybe third at times as well, if like Trey Murphy is still out there. But when you get the second unit running with Hawkins and one of the starters staying out there with him, you're going to see Hawkins take some shots. In these last couple games here against the Mavs, he played 21 minutes, took 9 shots. In the prior game, played 20 minutes, took 10 shots. And that's what I'm looking at here. If this man takes 9 to 10 shots, he should be good for 8 points. He only needs to make like 4 of them, and he's been good enough this season. So what I'm looking at here real quick to show you why I think that's good. If I go to field goals, right, field goals attempted, that is a filter that I can bring up to now see how has Jordan Hawkins played when he's taken at least 9 shots. So let's say he takes, let's even just give him a range of like 8 to 12 shots, right? How has he done that this season when he's taken 8 to 12? Because I don't think he's going to take 21. So I need to move the top filter down because there's too many guys around now for him to take that many shots. But when he takes 8 to 12, he's at 9.7 points per game, had a couple duds in there where he played just the 12 minutes here against Washington, only shot 7 times. And then he shot against the Rockets here, played 18 minutes, only shot 8 times in that game. So I do think that as long as he gets the 20 minutes, which he should be good for against Utah with still a couple guys missing, I think he's going to be a bet. Haven't gotten it down on the card yet. Want to see a little bit more about the lineup news for the Pelicans, which is always random. And then Yves Missi, if we do believe Zion's playing, he looks good to go in this one, then Yves Missi is the dude suffering as a result of Zion being in there. And all you got to do to look at that is go to games with and without, and you can choose games with Zion. So put the plus sign on him. And this season, when he's played with Zion, on the points, he's over in 3 of 9, 5.4 points per game. On the rebounds, he's over in 2 of 9, 5.9 rebounds per game. And this is all the way up at 8.5 on most books, right? Actually, all books at this point. So I think you take the PR and you kind of just fade them for him in this one. I know that there is no Walker Kessler, so he will have a lip, but Drew Eubanks is still a good enough backup center to be able to hang with the rook, Yves Missi here. And I just don't want anybody to be betting overs on Yves because it seems like an easy matchup. With Zion out there, he just loses a ton of minutes and a ton of usage. So I'd be going under on Yves Missi tonight. Go ahead and give that video a like if you have not yet and are getting anything out of what we're doing here. Also, just a quick reminder again, we have the live show, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, where we'll be going back over all the stuff that we missed here during this episode. So make sure you are tuning into that to get everything that we've got. And let's finish it out here with this OKC Dallas game, because this is me being stubborn to a degree, but this was a great look last night for J-Dub because there's still no Isaiah Hartenstein out there for this Thunder team. And when you have J-Dub out there without a true center, because there's been a number of games where he's played without both Chet, I'm going to take him out, Chet's out, and Isaiah Hartenstein, no centers this year. Look at J-Dub, right? Now, he had 19 points in this last game, and I'm going for the PRA again because I just think he has to do too much, including rebound. Maybe you just want the PR in this one. I haven't put the bet down for him yet, but the 26.5 PR I think is a very, very bettable number for him. And it's what he should have done last night. He had the 19 points in 30 minutes, 11 rebound chances and 6 boards, didn't play the fourth quarter because they won by 20 and were up by 30 in the second quarter, right? So this was never a game. That's why this one coming back, you've got them on the back-to-back. I still think they're good. They're probably going to cover, even if Kyrie plays in this game in Dallas. But there's a likelihood for a little bit of a letdown on the second leg here. The Mavs are going to be gunning for them. We know that. But I do think that J-Dub's just going to come right back to doing what he does when there's no centers on the floor. In this Phoenix game, the other under that he had, they won by 16, also only played 30 minutes. But in the games that they've needed him to play more than 30 minutes, 31, 35, 35, 34 minutes in the other 4 games, he's been going over. And if you look at his numbers in terms of per 36 on the season, when he's on the court and you've got no center on the court with him, or even if you have Jay Will on him, but basically J-Dub without Chet or Isaiah Hartenstein is looking at about 37 37 PRA per 36 minutes. And he was on track for that yesterday. He had better than that in terms of per 36 minutes, but he only played 30. So we couldn't get there. And I think he's going to be good for 34, 35 in this one, barring a complete blowout of this game. And if this thing is even within, 15 points in the fourth quarter, we should still see J-Dub coming out to help us get over after he obviously we didn't get it yesterday strictly because of the minutes. All right, last reminder, if you do want to jump into the VIP, get ahead of these units that we're building on the season up 35 right now. You can get in there for 40% off your first month if you use code OVER40. Also have the ability to jump in if you want a free month without even paying for that first month. Use code LYB and sign up for any of the sports books that you see scrolling underneath me here. They're all listed in the description of the video. Sign up for one of those. Send me a screenshot on either Twitter or Discord at JLBoogie. And I'll go ahead and give you that free month once I see that you signed up for these books using code LYB. Get all your free money and your bonus bets as well. That's super helpful. But best of luck until I see you guys here in a few hours for the live show. And until then, happy betting.